Welcome to my food trend presentation about the organic diet trend. What exactly is a food trend? A food trend is a widespread change in food preferences. Some food trends last for decades and can be a permanent fixture in food culture, or they can last slightly longer than a year. Food trends are often good and healthy, hence why it becomes a trend in the first place. Food trends are representative of a change of mindset in a society. Food trends can be influenced by a variety of factors, such as social media, environmental concerns, health awareness, and much more. Some examples of food trends are TV dinners, fruitarian diets, vegetarian or vegan diets, keto diets, and many more, which I've included in this slide, including the trend I will be focusing on today, the organic food trend. What exactly is the organic diet? The term organic specifically refers to the way food is grown and processed. The definition of organic changes from country to country, but in Canada, organic foods must be grown without the use of synthetic pesticides, fertilizers, GMOs, antibiotics, growth hormones, or artificial additives. While livestock has to be raised in living conditions which somewhat match their natural behaviors, such as the ability to graze on pasture. They cannot be exposed to growth hormones, antibiotics, or animal byproducts in order to have the label of organic. How did the organic diet food trend come to be? The organic diet food trend was not an overnight creation. Instead, it rose over several decades. As the food-based values of society shifted towards environmental sustainability and health, the organic food trend has therefore become a permanent fixture in food culture today. Research finds that consumers find organic foods more nutritious, natural, and environmentally friendly than non-organic foods, which is correct in most cases. This is backed by many research articles which I've included in this slide. Specifically, when tracking how the organic diet food trend came to be, in the 1960s to the 1970s, health concerns were raised about synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, and processed foods. The next decade saw environmental worries arise and countercultural movements embracing organic foods. The 1990s to the 2000s saw the demand for organic grow as the food trend gained a huge amount of momentum, and education of the adverse effects of non-organic foods started to grow. From the 2000s to the present day, consumers demanded transparency when it came to where their food was sourced from. Celebrities and social media took part in endorsing of organic food, and the sustainability and climate change concerns gained a huge amount of traction, all of which led to an increase in organic food consumption. In terms of the typical organic diet consumer, 46% state that health is the main reason for consuming organic foods. 40% say that organic foods taste better. Meanwhile, in terms of those who don't eat organic foods regularly, 42% say that the costs are too high, 15% say that they aren't seen in shops, 10% say that there's not enough variety, and a meager 4% say that they don't buy organic foods as they simply don't taste better. This next slide shows the sales of organic foods in the USA and worldwide side by side. This is a visual representation of how demand of organic foods have been increasing as time progresses. An example of a food that would fit this organic diet trend is the chicken and spring vegetable soup. The organic crops used in this dish are, as Canada's organic label states, grown without the use of synthetic herbicides, fertilizers, pesticides, and GMOs. The chicken used is also raised in suitable and accommodating living conditions, without being given any growth hormones or animal byproducts. In this next slide, the ingredients as well as the procedure to create the dish are listed. Please note that in order for this dish to be organic, all ingredients used in it must also be organic. Here we can see a graphic organizer for creating an organic diet while also complying with the Canadian Food Guide recommendations. It can be noted that compared to a regular plate, the sugar content is reduced. The negative effects on health and the environment are also reduced. Half the plate should be specifically organic fruits and vegetables, one quarter should be organic protein, and the final quarter should be organic whole grain foods. As long as the principles of organic food and the Canadian Food Guide are upheld, a nutritious and healthy organic plate can be created, in line with the organic diet. Here we have an analysis of the organic diet trend. Specifically, does eating this way allow us to meet all of our nutritional needs according to Canada's Food Guide? The short answer is yes. All organic foods are actually found to be more nutritious than non-organic foods. They are not grown with harmful pesticides and hormones, which reduce their nutritional content. Almost any plate that meets the Canadian Food Guide prior to being organic will almost certainly become even more nutritious once it's made to be organic. According to existing research, Canadians consumed about $7 billion worth of organic food in 2020, and the demand for these products is growing at a rate of more than 8% annually, which is a huge amount. In this next slide, we can see that as long as half the plate consists of organic fruits and vegetables, and the remaining half is split evenly between organic grains and proteins, the Canadian Food Guide's requirements can indeed be met. Now, do I ever personally follow this trend? I absolutely do. There are a variety of reasons to which I follow the organic eating trend, including reducing the risk of allergies and obesity, organic foods being more flavorful, organic foods helping towards having a sustainable agriculture, protecting my health, as well as preventing soil erosion. Organic foods also protect the livelihoods of farmers, it supports the economy, and it contains higher levels of monounsaturated fats and salicylic acid, as well as antioxidants. Organic foods are therefore safer to eat, and they prevent diseases such as cancer, stroke, and heart diseases. Here we can see a variety of other reasons to eat organic and the various beneficial effects of eating organic foods, many of which I listed in the previous slide. In terms of the advantages and disadvantages which are listed in this slide, the advantages were already covered. So, to cover the disadvantages, organic foods are almost always more pricey than conventionally grown foods. Organic foods are not widely available. Organic foods have a lower shelf life, and they're more sensitive to environmental changes. They take more work to produce and offer a higher risk of bacterial contamination. While this might sound terrible at first, it's important to note that the number of disadvantages are greatly outshadowed by the health benefits and advantages. What little health disadvantages organic food may have, such as the risk of bacterial contamination, can be avoided by eating freshly organic and washing food thoroughly, as well as proper cooking procedures. What is my personal opinion of the organic diet food trend and its impact on humans? Well, my opinions on this organic diet food trend is exceedingly positive, as it reduces pollution, it conserves water, reduces soil erosion, it increases soil fertility while also saving energy. It's also important to remember that herbicides and pesticides do not differentiate between good and bad bugs. It simply kills them all, which is terrible for biodiversity, so all the better if organic food does not use pesticides. The major concern I have with organic foods is of course the cost, due to a higher amount of labor and expensive farming practices, but even so, my opinion on organic food is very positive. In this slide, we can see even more examples of the good that the organic diet trend has, and why my opinion on it is so great, such as taking part in biologically friendly pest control, crop rotation, being locally oriented, and many more included in this slide. The very concept of organic farming uses nature as a model. It encourages natural pesticides such as predators. It considers the farm as an integrated entity. It does not pollute the land with pesticides, and it's based on maintaining a very biodiverse soil content. It focuses on keeping the soil health in great quality. In this slide, you can see some examples of great plant-based foods which the Canadian Food Guide recommends. In fact, The Canadian Food Guide recommends eating more plant-based protein in general, as it can provide more fiber and less saturated fats than any other type of protein foods. Listed in this slide are some common strategies for healthy eating to everyone in order to improve their eating habits according to the Canadian Food Guide. These strategies consist of eating plenty of organic vegetables and fruits, as well as organic whole grain foods and protein foods, cooking more often, involving others in planning and preparing meals, and enjoying your food. Make it a habit to eat a variety of healthy foods. Choose foods with healthy fats instead of saturated fats. Drink more water. Be aware that food marketing can influence your choices, and use the Canadian Food Guide in all things that you eat, including organic diets. To summarize, an organic diet is one of the most popular Canadian food trends. It's one that's rapidly growing in sectors in the food industry. It's based on the belief that organic diets can protect from harmful pesticides and herbicides, because shifting towards an organic diet reduces, if not completely eliminates, the consumer's exposure to pesticides and herbicides. Consumer demand for organic food is based on the belief that organic products are healthier. There is sufficient evidence to conclude that inorganic food products contain higher levels of synthetic pesticides, which is why organic diets free of said pesticides are so much safer. In summary, the organic diet trend evolved through a mix of health concerns, environmental concerns, countercultural values, regulatory frameworks, and the influence of social media. It continues to grow as consumers increasingly prioritize healthy eating, ethical production of food, and sustainability in food choices. Thank you, Ms. Lakhani, for your comments on my presentation. They have been very helpful and I appreciate them very much. There have been a great sense of motivation. Thank you for listening. Eat well and live well.